Liftoff will start in T-minus 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have ignition.
It's time! 17 seconds from Game 7 or from championship number 6. Jordan open. Chicago with the lead. I've got a piece of it. It comes off. The Chicago Bulls have won their 6th NBA championship. Tying run at second, 2 out. Palmero over the head of Jenks. Uribe charges close. Out! And the White Sox have won the World Series.
To the far side around the 8-yard line to Hester. Under it and to the middle with the 15 to the 20. Break 3 to the 25 to the 30 to the outside. 40 midfield. 40 30 to the coast. 20 15 Hester 5. Oh! Touchdown!
He will glove it in front of Rizzo. It's in time. And the Chicago Cubs win the World Series.
What up, what up, what up? Welcome to Shawn and Maya in the morning on this Hump Day edition. I'm your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra. Thanks for tuning in. If you're watching us on Facebook Live, well, then I guess you found us on Facebook. And if you're not following us on Facebook, what? Come on, go to Facebook, type in Sports Zone Chicago, click the like button, and now you're following Sports Zone Chicago. Simple. But wait, there's more. Go to the show's page. Go to Shawn and Maya in the morning. Like that page as well. So not only will you be following Sports Zone Chicago, but you'll be following Shawn and Maya in the morning as well. Also, follow me on social media, on Facebook as well, too. All right, I post a lot of cool stuff, interesting things. You'd like that as well. If you're watching this on our YouTube channel, excellent. And if you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, for real, come on, man. Go to YouTube, type in Sports Zone Chicago, click the subscribe button, but also click the notification button. That's the little bell next to it, and that'll let you know anything Sports Zone Chicago is going live. Get it? Got it? Good. Now, if you're watching this on our mobile app, listen, don't tell me you didn't know we had a mobile app. Come on, baby. Keep up with the programs. You got to keep up with the Joneses and them. Listen, so wherever you get your apps from, go there, whether it's iTunes or Google Play or Amazon or Walmart or Kmart or 7-Eleven, Zayre, Zemsky, Mason, Montgomery Ward, Woolworth, Webolts, Gold Blast. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter where you get your apps from. You go there, you type in Sports Zone Chicago, you download it, you take us with you on the go. So not only do you get Shawn and Maya in the morning 3 days a week, not only do you get our other live shows throughout the week, and not only are they archived there like they are on Facebook and YouTube, but I'll tell you what, we give you a slew. And I mean a slew of articles thanks to my man Clarence Council III. Pick up to Clarence for keeping you abreast of all articles Chicago sports related. Now, if you're watching this on a Roku channel, I like that kind of party, baby. And if you don't know, you better ask somebody. Sports Zone Chicago, we have our own Roku channel. So if you have a Roku television in the house, do us a favor. Download Sports Zone Chicago's channel to your television. Put us there right there next to the big boys. Netflix, Hulu, Prime, HBO Max, Apple Plus, Disney Plus, Paramount Plus, all the pluses. Stars. All right, put us there. Watch us on the big screen. Hell, run the big screen, right, Mickey? Now. You can also tweet the show. You can tweet us at Sports Zone Shy. That's CHI at Sports Zone Shy. Now, if you want to follow me, just me personally online. Want to know what I did? Let me tell you what I did. I made it nice and easy for you folks. Nice and easy. One handle for Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok. All one handle. We have TikTok back. Thank you, President Trump. All one handle at the Shawn Sierra. Listen, we got a great show, but I need you to get interactive. So whatever platform you're watching us on, whether it's Facebook, YouTube, or mobile app, leave a question or comment on that platform. It'll come up here on the screen. We'll come up here in a thread. We'll put it up on the screen. We'll incorporate it into the show. And that, my peoples, is what makes this the best morning Chicago sports talk show around, and that's you. So bring them all, baby. Questions, comments, smart-ass remarks, because ain't nobody scared over here. And like The Rock said, baby, don't sing it. Just bring it. Let's see. Let's check out the chat, because the chat seems to be jumping crazy over here. Yes. Cornelius Squall's in the house. What up? What up? What up? What up, sports zoners? He says, finally, the Bears have a coach that doesn't out us at a disadvantage every game. I hear you. Bear down. Doesn't put us at a disadvantage every game. I got you. Mr. Short is in the house. Bear down, Cornelius. So we're all just chopped liver, huh? No, all right. That's cool. Black Diamond's in the house. Says, yo, top of the morning. We got our man, Shawn, but I'm not getting hype until I see a few games. Oh, yeah, I hear you. But I got to wait till a few games. Wait till we see what happens after free agency and the draft. See which way they go, which route they go. Okay, then we can start getting a little fired up. All right. Michelle Wallace says, happy hump day, peeps, and bear down. I hear you. Listen, I don't know a lot about a lot, but I do know this. More of the usual suspects will chime in as the show goes on. That, my peoples, I can promise you. Man, listen, we got a good show for you. My man, Glynn Morgan, Bears analyst, draft analyst, is going to join the scratch this white sucker. How'd that happen? Oh, well. Glynn Morgan, Bears draft analyst, is going to join us at 10 o'clock, talking all things Bears. Bears got their man. Bears got their man. So we're going to talk that. We're going to talk roster construction. We're going to talk a lot with Glenn at 10 a.m. Let's see. Cornelius says, top of the morning, Mr. Shorty, Michelle, and Black Diamond. Why you can feel the excitement that Ben Johnson has brought to this team already. Blues couldn't do that in a million years. Yeah. Well, let's not trash him because he's gone. He was who he was. All right, that was his personality. So there's no need to trash him because he's gone. You know, he did a good job for a while, and we thank him for that. You know, so I, like the rest of Bears Nation, I am excited. I'm excited. Again, that wasn't my first choice, but I like the hire. It makes sense. Hank Fraley, excuse me, is the offensive line coach for the Detroit Lions, who's going on an interview out west. Is it for Vegas? To be there, I can't remember what team, to be their offensive coordinator, but also he may end up here as Ben Johnson's offensive coordinator. So if we get their offensive line coach, that would be huge, because multiple times, my good friend Mark Micah, my fullback with the Thunder, he and I would watch games. We'd go to Output and watch games, and we would talk about it. Or we just talk on the phone and be like, man, the run fits that this Detroit Lion offensive line has are insane. They're incredible. Okay? So oftentimes you see David Montgomery or Jahmyr Gibbs not getting touched until past the second level. But that's what happens when you have 3 first-round picks on your offensive line. But not only that, you have coaching. The coaching, there was a wise man, a very wise man, who once coined the phrase, coaching matters. Okay? Very wise man. Okay? It doesn't matter what type of talent you have the right coaching. You can bring the best out of the players. And he's done a phenomenal job in Detroit. Again, it helps when you have 3 first-round picks in your offensive line. And we don't have that here. So first of all, can we get that here? We have 1. Okay. See if we can get another 2. All right, we can go through free agency, and even if they're first-round picks, cool. That's what we need. I'm excited for the possibilities. I'm excited for the energy he brought in Hallis Hall yesterday. My man Plankster checking in, says, good morning, Shawn. Sports Owners, happy Ben Johnson Wednesday. Bear down. That's funny. Ben Johnson Wednesday. Hey, did the city of Lake Forest officially declare yesterday as Ben Johnson Day? That's funny. That's good stuff. Oh. Shorty, a BJ Wednesday. We like BJ Wednesday. Yes, a BJ Wednesday would be great. It is great. Oh boy, I messed up over there. Anyway. Well, listen, guys. As I said, Glynn Morgan at 10 o'clock. We got a lot to unpack with Glynn. But moving forward, you know how we do. Guys, you know how we do. Excuse me, the first segment of every show is called Top of the Morning.
It won't come just when you want it. Top of the morning to you. Top of the morning to you. Top of the morning to you.
You did what? Black Diamond said I did that last year, Shawn, and it blew up in my face. What, you got too excited? What? I'm not sure what you're talking about, Papa. I'm not sure what you're talking about. Let me know what you're talking about. But in the meantime, while I wait, let's get to it. First top of the morning topic on Monday, the national championship game. Woo! That was the game. The national college football national championship game was held in Atlanta on Monday. Ohio State defeated Notre Dame 34-23. Howard was 17 of 21 for 231 yards, 2 touchdowns. It was Ohio State's quarterback. Jeremiah Smith, 5 catches, 88 yards, and a touchdown. Running back Judkins, he had 11 carries, 100 yards, and 2 touchdowns. It was an interesting game. Notre Dame went down on the opening drive, 18 plays, 9 minutes and 45 seconds to punch it in. Reports were that it took so much out of their quarterback. I think he had 8 or 9 carries on that drive, Riley Leonard, that he threw up on the sideline. This is what some of the reports were. Some of the Notre Dame guys. Riley Leonard, the aforementioned Leonard, 22 of 31 for 255 yards, 2 touchdowns. He also had 17 carries for 40 yards and a touchdown. Wide receiver Greathouse, he had 6 catches, 128 yards, and 2 touchdowns. It was a good game. Notre Dame got out front. And I want to say that Ohio State scored the next, 24 points, and were able to hold off Notre Dame as they try to make a late comeback. Great game. Great to see. What a way to end last weekend. 2 NFL games on Saturday, 2 NFL games on Sunday, and a college football national championship game on Monday. Whew. A time was had last Sunday, let me tell you. Keeping it moving. The next top of the morning topic on Monday, the Bulls. Only the Bulls. Only the Bulls. The Bulls beat the Los Angeles Clippers out in LA 112-99. Zach LaVine led the way with 35 points. Josh Giddey, 18 points, 10 rebounds, 9 helpers, missing a triple-double by 1 assist. Talen Horton Tucker, Southside Zone, Simeon Zone. He contributed 18 points in the cause. Tomorrow, mañana, the Bulls travel to the Bay. I remember I was told you can't call it San Fran. People will fight you if you're out there, but you got to call it the Bay. The Bulls travel to the Bay to face the Golden State Warriors. Tip-off is at 9 p.m. Central. You can catch that game on Chicago Sports Network, or you can listen to that game on their flagship station, 670 a.m. Can they win that one? I don't know. Good question. I don't know. Keeping it moving, the next top of the morning topic, the Blackhawks having a rough one. Blackhawks lose. They fall to the Carolina Hurricane 4-3 in overtime. Peter Mrazek stopped 48 shots. Nikola Kurashev, he scored. He lit the lamp for the fourth time of the season. Tyler Bertuzzi, his 14th goal. Ryan Donato, his 14th goal as well. Assists on the day, Donato with his 13th. Crevier, his first. Seth Jones, his 16th. Azar, his 4th. Taylor Hall, his 15th. And Kurashev, in addition to his 4th goal, got his 3rd assist of the season. Frustrating watching the Hawks because you just won. This is these last 2 games, I want to say, our guy Connor Bedard has been held scoreless. So that's frustrating, to say the least. Let's see what's going on here in the chat. The checks. Oh, Black Diamond says, yeah, get excited. Okay. I hear you, and it's frustrating because we know what this team has done to us in the past. They always find a way to screw it up. Is it like Diamond says, Cornelius, Shorty, I have PTSD, LBVS, laughing but very serious. Cornelius says, I understand, Black Diamond. I get it. It happens, you know. It happens to us, man. It's just we put so much faith in our Chicago Bears, and so oftentimes they let us down. You know, like an unfair and abusive relationships, and not to make light of abusive relationships. Okay, but we are in an abusive relationship with the Chicago Bears. Anyway, next topic of the morning, keeping it moving. Keep moving. Made it official. It's Facebook official. Bears have signed Ben Johnson to be their new head coach, the 19th coach in the history of the organization. And let me tell you something. Things happened quickly. Terms were undisclosed. Okay, Ben Johnson will meet the media today at 11 a.m. At 11 o'clock, he'll meet the media. So it's going to be a exciting time. This is the guy that many people wanted. This is the guy that has put up some phenomenal numbers with the Detroit Lions for the past 3 seasons. And people are hoping that he can do the same thing here in Chicago. All right, they are hoping and praying he can do the same thing here that he did in Detroit, because he's got weapons. And rumor has it, former head coach Dennis Allen is projected to be his defensive coordinator. And from 2019 to 2023, Dennis Allen's defenses were in the top 10 for defensive EPA in all 5 seasons. So if you do get a Dennis Allen to come and be the head coach and be the defensive coordinator, you have a guy. And here's a good thing. Kind of like Matt Nagy, his first year, he had Vic Fangio. Okay? You have a guy here who's a veteran, been a defensive coordinator, also been a head coach before. Okay, but you have a guy that you can say, hey, listen, take care of that side of the ball while I kind of give more of my focus toward the offense and developing Caleb. Okay, and also let's not forget the offensive line, Hank Fraley. All right. Could be come here as the offensive coordinator. He'd have to move up. he wouldn't be calling plays, but just it would be a pay increase just because of the fact that you go from O-line coach, offensive coordinator. So my biggest thing is I want him here working with these offensive linemen. I do. I just think that I like the way that Detroit offensive lineman gets in their fits. And if we can get our offensive line to run block like that. And I also think we need another running back. I think we need another running back. I wouldn't take it in the first round. I mean, Ashton Janty, no. But I think we need a bigger running back, stronger running back, and a guy who does have some speed. Black Diamond says, Cornelius, you know why I say that we are still with the clown shoes, McCaskey. Oh, you didn't hear about Hank Fraley possibly coming over, Shorty? Yeah, that would be great because I love, me, offensive lines. My whole career, I've been fortunate to play behind good offensive lines. And I was a bigger back. I had some speed. I didn't have, put it this way, I couldn't break it from 80, but from 50 yards in, I'd break it. 50 yards in, very rarely would you catch me, unless you're the free safety, who's 20 yards downfield and had a head start. But usually I never got caught from behind, especially from 50 yards in. No. So you need a bigger back. Black Diamond said, according to Jeff Hughes, what's seal the deal, buddy? You said McCaskey sealing the deal on Johnson? Oh, snap. Jerry Billings checking in. Good morning, Papa. How are you? Because that's what I want to see is how different the O-line blocking scheme looks like. I do too. And how disciplined they are. Oh, Shorty says, no, I heard that, Shawn, about the O-line coaches. I didn't hear that George told Ben he and Kevin would stay out of football stuff. I did not hear. That I did not hear. Here's the one thing about it. He chose this situation quickly. Because mind you, he played Sunday. And Tuesday morning, he was signed. He played Sunday. No, they played Saturday. Sorry. Detroit played Saturday and lost. So within Sunday, Monday, they got a deal done. Black Diamond says, yeah, he allegedly gave his word. Oh, okay. Okay. And that would be great. If he did give his word, if he does stay the hell out of football business, please do. Just sit back, be a fan, collect your millions, your hundreds of millions of dollars that you get. It's $400 million at the end of the last couple of seasons. It's been $400 million that every team got except the Packers. Okay, so get your $400 million and just chill. Just shut up. Know your role, jabroni, and shut your mouth. And it shows that he really wanted to work with Caleb. Okay, it shows he really wanted to work with Caleb. Okay, you have a young, budding superstar in Caleb Williams. You have a quarterback, a highly touted quarterback who did not receive the proper coaching. And after seeing him 2 times, he was impressed. Thought the situation was best. I mean, think about it. We talked about Caleb stepping into a good situation. Look at the situation that Ben Johnson is stepping into. All right, a top 5 defense when playing well. So if he brings in Dennis Allen in, Okay, now you're going to get a veteran defensive coordinator who's probably going to get the best out of this defense. So this defense should go back to being one of the better defenses, at least the top 10 defense, maybe top 5, but at least top 10. Okay? And then now you're working with a young quarterback on a rookie deal. And one of the things that he probably, he talked with Poles, obviously, but say, hey, let's draft an offensive lineman. Let's get an offensive lineman in free agency. Let's get a guard in free agency. Let's draft a tackle. Let's draft a center in the 3rd round. Okay, you could upgrade this offensive line in the offseason, the one offseason. Because the $80 million in cap space you have, you got it. You have that potential. So you can have a much better offensive line, a first-round pick. Give me first-round picks, man. I want a minimum of 3 first-round picks in our offensive line. Minimum. All right? Now, if we got a second rounder as a center, cool. Because you know what? Most likely, you're never going to draft a center in the first round. Most likely. So if we get four first rounders, it doesn't have to be this year. We can get another one next year. Or if we sign 2 guards, and draft a left tackle in the first round, there are 4 first-round picks and get a center. I'm more than okay with that. More than okay with that. We don't know what the terms were, but the rumors were that it was $13 million a year. Those are rumors. Rumors are that it's 6 years for $13 million. Or 5 years for $13 million. But the rumors were $13 million a year is what the rumors are. It's unconfirmed. Okay. If it's 6, it's 15. It's 6 for 15. 6 for 90. Okay. The Bears are acting like the 3rd largest market in the country. That's what they're doing. This is an un-Chicago Bears-like move that Bear Nation is extremely, extremely excited about. Unbelievable that the Bears did this. And the quickness with which it happened. Like I said, he just played Saturday. And Tuesday he signed. He's in Hallis Hall, being announced as a new head coach for the Chicago Bears. Come on, man. That's insane. That is insane. So that means there was a lot. And again, he's going to be introduced to the media today. And my thing was, man, well, obviously there had to have been, because he was not in Hallis Hall. He did not meet. Yesterday was the first time he was in Hallis Hall. He did not have an in-person interview. So all this was done, bam. Over the phone, through his agent, virtually. All this was done. So apparently this guy was at Ford Field, outside the locker room. Apparently he was there. Yeah, it shows that he really did want this job. And when he said that this is where he wanted to be, he wasn't bullshitting. He wasn't bullshitting. Because he had other interviews lined up for the rest of the week. Vegas. You know, who was the other team? I don't remember. I know Vegas was one because his boy might have got the general manager gig up in Vegas. He kind of rumors had it he wanted his own general manager. But apparently apparently he found the situation a lot more appealing than the one in Vegas, not having a quarterback. Yeah. Listen, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a quick break. All right, on the other side of the break, we're going to continue with top of the morning topics. All right, I got to get the wording off to CrossFit. Have some more Bears talk, some more Natty talk, National Championship game talk. So don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago.
Many will hear the calling. Few will earn the title. United States Marine. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Hey, it's your boy, the Superback, Shawn Sierra, and be sure to follow Sports Zone Chicago on all social media platforms, on Facebook, Instagram, and our Roku channel. You can find us at Sports Zone Chicago, and on Twitter, we are at Sports Zone Shy. Also, be sure to download our mobile app so you can take Sports Zone Chicago with you on the go.
How do you take care of your mind health?
For my mental health, I meditate in the mornings.
I have my dogs. They're the best.
I just find ways that help me just relax.
Finding things that make me happy, like being close to my family.
I meditate a lot and read books.
I have hobbies outside of the game. I'm able to switch off. I'm able to turn my brain off from the game of basketball.
Your mind health matters.
Your mind health matters.
We are looking for a few heroes, mentors, trailblazers, innovators, a passion to change lives, spark curiosity, open hearts, and awaken minds, help students answer the question, who am I? This could be your calling, but this is no job. It's the journey of a lifetime. Be a hero. Be a teacher.
Mental health and learning disorders don't discriminate. 17 million children and adolescents in the United States live with disorders like anxiety, depression, ADHD, and dyslexia. Less than half get the help they need to thrive. Help the Child Mind Institute change these children's lives. Visit childmind.org.
Giddy, tough drive, twists that pass out to Vucevic, who spins away from Dunn and floats it.
He's an elite scorer in this league. I'm really surprised teams don't respect him to the point where you see him, especially with there is.
He can still do that!
Oh, come fly with me, Zach.
Get it into Vucevic with Harden on him defensively. Bamba's on the opposite block. Here's Giddy, spinning, shooting over the smaller Powell, and it's Batum with a rebound.
Yeah, he missed him wide open on the break.
Porter blocked by Smith. Here's Harden, and ball is back in to guard James Harden from getting on a heater, and he knocked that ball away.
Good play by Lonzo Ball, 2-on-1.
Giddy to Hart Tucker, what a play! One brother to another. Horton Tucker dumps it off, drop pass for Vucevic.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. Those clips courtesy of CHSN, Chicago Sports Network. Hometown call, Stacy in Adam, Amin. Good stuff. Good stuff. Those are the Bullies on Monday with a big win. Let's not get it twisted. Don't get it. Ben Johnson choosing the Bears proves drafted Caleb number 1 was not a mistake. No, it doesn't mean that. No, it doesn't. All right, because their head coach was very adamant about our former quarterback being out of the league, so we didn't have to face him anymore. Okay. Ben stated that Chicago is where they wanted to be. Yes, it was. Yeah. And you're right, Shorty. It makes sense. He says, who wouldn't want to be in Chicago over Jacksonville or Vegas? Oh, there is no income tax in Florida, which says a lot. Yeah, that's huge. Yeah, it was. There was a post going around on social media where a gentleman has some young football players. I forgot what camp it was. He talked about. He goes, people don't understand. They see the number, okay, but they don't understand what the actual number is. The guy with a signing bonus and his first year salary came out to like $10 million. And he told him, he goes, right off the bat, he goes, you got Uncle Sam. Uncle Sam does not play. He gets his shit first. Okay. Let's keep it a buck. Uncle Sam takes his shit first off the top. So that's half. So now you're looking at 5. Okay. Then he goes, there's a tax. He goes, your state income tax, wherever you have to play. All right. If you're in Texas, if you're in Florida and a couple of other states don't have state income tax, you're fortunate. Okay. But this thing called the jock tax, I think it was a Michael Jordan tax is what happened. It started. They didn't do this before this. So whenever you go and you play outside of your state, so if you come to Chicago, you play in Illinois, you have to pay Illinois state income tax because you're working, you're earning income in Illinois. And how many games do you play? 8 or 9 games on the road. Okay, so you're going to be taxed 9 times or 8 times. Okay. Then you have your union fees, your agent fees. He says, so all of a sudden that $10 million, down to 5, might be down to 3. Okay. Then you got to buy a house. You're going to buy mama a house. He said, now it might be down to 2. He goes, so out of that $10 million you signed, you might clear $2 million. You think about it. So it does make a huge difference. But if he's getting paid 13 to 15 mil, I think he'll be all right. Cornelius, you said, I see Zach was auditioning for the Clippers the other night. Yeah, he was. Let's see, you guys. I agree. Cornelius, this is right. 2 things can be right at the same time. 2 things can be right at the same time. Jalen Daniels can be better than Caleb right now. And Caleb could end up having a better career. 2 things can be right. Okay? Again, it's not. Imagine, here's the thing. You have to remember it's the whole situation. Look at Justin. Look at Mitch. Okay? They didn't come into situations like this. They didn't get the hottest offensive mind guiding their careers at the beginning. They didn't get that. Caleb's fortunate. Caleb is very fortunate. And I hope he takes advantage of it. Okay? It seems like a match made in heaven. He talked about everything when he was on the same Brown Brothers podcast. Seemed like he wanted Ben Johnson, but and then they asked Ben Johnson about him, and Ben kind of couldn't really go into it because he was still employed by the Detroit Lions. So I get it. So now we'll be able to see. I think Daniels is a fluke. Why would you say that? This reminds me when the A-Train won the Rookie of the Year, then Tomlinson became a Hall of Fame running back. It can happen, okay? Just because you're Rookie of the Year, Blake, you're a fool. You're a fool. Shorty, you misspelled Super Bowls with an S. We want multiple. But you have to get everything aligned, and that's what the Bears did. All right, you got the guy to guide and develop your quarterback. That's the biggest issue. That was the biggest issue for the last even since Cutler was here. Yeah, you can't say Caleb's a bust after 1 year. Like you can't say anyone else is a superstar Hall of Famer after 1 year. Okay? You can't. Just can't do it. Oh. People say that are just that a lot of times they're just trying for clicks. All right, they're going for clicks. They just it doesn't matter. All right, you got to see it play out. You have to see it play out. And Caleb showed a lot of great things this year. All right, his ability to go down in crunch time at the end of halves, at the end of games. Okay. I don't think he would have folded before playing all 17. I think one of the things that shows he's not a bust is his ability is every game, all the times that I was just about to say, he's come down in either end of half or end of games and brought them within a chance to either score at half or brought them within a chance to win at the end of the game. And whatever the reason was unable to, a lot of it was coaching, was unable to get the deal done. It doesn't matter. See, stop it, Shorty, stop it. It doesn't matter the numbers. Numbers don't matter. Stats don't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And Jaden Daniels didn't have DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, and Roma Dunze. He has Scary Terry, a couple other guys. Stats are not important. Important is what you do. When it's time, do you score? Do you need to score? And Caleb brought them down to score many times, especially before the half. And a couple times, thanks to poor coaching, they were turned away from scoring at the end and possibly winning a lot more games. It's not about the stats. Don't do that. Don't do that. It's not stats. Who cares if you throw for 5,000 yards if you don't? Dan Marino leads the NFL in passing. He doesn't have, or he did. I don't know if Tom Brady passed him or Drew Brees passed him. But he didn't have a Super Bowl. So what good are the stats? What good are the stats? Shorty says, I only say that because if the Bears would have won the division, he would have won Rookie of the Year. Now, I hear you. But it wouldn't have mattered his stats. If the Bears won the division, it wouldn't matter what his stats were. Because there were so much hype around him for him to lead his team to the division with Detroit, Green Bay, and Minnesota in it. If he would have won it, if he would have of course he would have been Rookie of the Year. And it wouldn't have mattered if he threw for 300 yards or 175. They were talking about his efficiency. Cornelius says, Plank, I agree 110%. It was really impressed. I was really impressed by Caleb's talent, toughness, and competitiveness. You can win with that. That's what you need. You need a guy who knows how to win. The guy who refuses to lose. Doesn't matter if he has 120 yards going into the fourth quarter, or 60 yards going. It doesn't matter. What matters is when it's the game's on the line. First of all, keeping your team close, but when the game's on the line, that you deliver. That's what matters. Not the stats. Were you able to get it done or not? Hold on, we got to take a quick break. I got to take a quick break. We were right back. Hey, it's your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra, and be sure to follow Sports Zone Chicago on all social media platforms, on Facebook, Instagram, and our Roku channel. You can find us at Sports Zone Chicago, and on Twitter, we are at Sports Zone Shy. Also, be sure to download our mobile app so you can take Sports Zone Chicago with you on the go.
Time out. How are you feeling right now? Happy? Excited? Angry? Overwhelmed? One of the best things you can do for your mind health is to name what you're feeling. It can sharpen your awareness and help you talk about your feelings with someone you trust. Here are 3 questions to ask yourself. Where are your thoughts right now? In the past, the present, the future? Do you notice any sensations in your body? Is your heart beating fast? Is there a flutter in your stomach? Or are you fully relaxed? What do you need right now? Time with others? Time to yourself? Remember, there's power in this awareness. So find ways to identify what you're feeling today.
Hi, guys. Hey. Hi, Megan. Hey, Jessica. Megan, you're a tramp. Brian Fitch told me you guys made out. Everybody knows. He said your breath smells like garbage. And he almost puked. He says you're the most desperate girl he knows, besides your mom.
2nd down and 6. Williams play fake. Now throws wide open. It's DJ Moore. The former Carolina Panther is in for a Bears touchdown. 34 yards. Williams to Moore.
Finally connected last week against the Rams, and this is the matchup that everyone was looking for. J.C. Horn going against DJ Moore. He thought that he was going to pass off this receiver to somebody else. Instead, everybody's...
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. Those clips courtesy of Fox. So I had to run out. It started snowing out here. And when the warden was going down to her car, her lift, there's a little too snow, and I'm like, no, I can't. I had to go walk her down the driveway, so I couldn't let her do that until I need for her to fall. I was like, oh my goodness, that's why I had to take a quick break. What were we talking? We were talking about the coaching, the players, and the end result. And I know everyone wants to see Caleb throw for 4,000 yards. I get it. I understand. The Chiefs went, 15-2. Okay? Last game didn't really count, but whatever. How many times did Patrick Mahomes throw for under 200 yards? How many times? A lot. All right. And here's the thing. No one said anything. Nobody cared. Why? Because they're winning. Here, this year. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 times he threw for under 200 yards. A couple other times it was 210, 209, 217. All right, so just over 200 yards. Nobody cared. Why? Because they're a well-oiled machine. Because Isaiah Pacheco. Because that defense is dominant, getting the ball in short fields. And that's why it's so important when we talk about Dennis Allen possibly coming over as a defensive coordinator, getting this defense back to where it needs to be. Because if this defense gets back to where it needs to be and Caleb is developed by Ben Johnson, holy shit. Holy shit, how good this team can be. Because you're going to draft linemen. You have to. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I say get another running back as well. I think that would be most important, or one of the things. But again, don't get it so we don't need it so high up. All right, we don't, just give me a running back in the 3rd round, 4th round. Hell, you got Chiefs got Pacheco in the 5th to 6th round, 7th round, something like that. You don't running backs are a dime a dozen. Now, great running backs. Okay, that's another story. Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry. But we don't need a great running back right now. Okay, the fact of the matter is the Chicago Bears did something that is very unlike them. They saw the hottest guy out there, a guy that was wanted and coveted by many teams, and they got their guy. They got their guy. That is un-Chicago Bears-like. And I'm grateful that they did that. Because now you're looking like a franchise. Now you're looking at it like someone who wants to win. That tells you as a Bears fan that this team wants to win. Does it not? Does it not? This is the hottest offensive mind out there. And we want to pair him with our quarterback, the number 1 overall pick from last year, the quarterback. That sounds like a team who's focused on winning, who's determined to win. That's what it sounds like. That hasn't been echoed from the halls of Hallis for a long time. That hasn't been the sentiment coming from Hallis Hall in a long time. You want your guy, you went and got him. And it took you for less than 48 hours. You had a deal done. You didn't even see him in the building. So, yes, he wanted to be here, but also the fact of the matter is you did what you had to do to make sure he came here. That's why if you look at the thumbnail today, Steve did a great job with the thumbnail. It's kind of taking a shot at us, and me too. Remember, 3 blind mice? They got the cheese. Very un-Chicago Bear-like. To see what you want, see the hottest girl in school, go up and get her to go to prom with you. Didn't worry about getting embarrassed. You win. You made the best play possible. And she said yes. I'm as surprised as any Bears fan that, 1, they got him, but 2, they got him so quickly. He didn't even go to Vegas or Jacksonville. He didn't even go. So it shows you that what we have. You're not going to come here if you don't have something. That's why he didn't go to Vegas. Could have gone and hang out with Tom Brady and maybe his buddy, the GM, when they signed him. But he said, no, he's got a defense. They just got to get back focused. Get another edge rusher and you'll be good. And they have a quarterback you can build around. And cap space. So, very impressed. For all the shit that I give Poles, Warren, and George McCaskey, I must tip my hat to you. For the way you went about this coaching search and hire. You know, hey, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, I'll tell you I'm wrong. I was surprised. I didn't think they'd get it done. I did not think they'd get it done. And all the reports were like, he's going to Vegas, maybe Jacksonville, but he's going to Vegas. It didn't matter. He's here. So kudos to you, Ryan Poles, Kevin Warren, and George McCaskey for getting it done. And if George McCaskey stayed out of the way and said, hey, do it, first of all, you have to authorize paying him $10, $13, $15 million. You got to authorize that. So for that, hats off. Because you understood you got to spend like the big boys. You saw what the hell the Dodgers are doing. Acting like a big grown-ass man franchise. It's about time you start acting like a grown-ass man franchise because we are the charter franchise of the NFL. Got me fired up this morning. Oh, damn. Forgot. I don't want to walk down the driveway with slip and have this fall. My Bears victory chain. Because Bears victory Wednesday. Bears victory Wednesday. We won. I'm fired up. There's a Canuck in the house, baby. What's up? He says, SuperBack coaching fucking matters. It does. You know this. And you know this, man. It does. So I'm excited. Cautiously, but I'm excited. Because we've never had this guy before. We've never had, listen, we got Matt Nagy. We knew he didn't call all the plays. It was still Andy Reid. We got Mark Trestman. He was weird. Mark Trestman was just weird. Looking like Leonard from Big Bang Theory. All right. John Shoup, Adam Gase. Adam Gase was the closest thing. Because Adam Gase came here, helped Jay do crazy things. Luckily, we didn't have to deal with him as a head coach. He went to Miami and sucked. But, you know, that's neither here nor there. To borrow the words from Kevin Lauder. The Canuck is in the house, baby. So listen, let's take a quick break. So on the other side of the break, we're going to welcome my guy, Glynn Morgan. We're going to talk about this hire. We're going to talk about what they need. Okay, DJ Breeze checking in at the right time, baby. That's what I'm talking about. I told you, usual suspects are going to check in. They know 10 o'clock is time, baby. It's time at 10. DJ Breeze, thanks for checking in, Papa. I appreciate it. Because the Canuck bright and early. You know it, baby. I love it. I love it. So don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked right here on the other side of the break. Other side of the break, not the Blake. The break. Glynn Morgan, Bears draft analyst. On the other side, keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. Hey, it's your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra, and be sure to follow Sports Zone Chicago on all social media platforms, on Facebook, Instagram, and our Roku channel. You can find us at Sports Zone Chicago, and on Twitter, we are at Sports Zone Shy. Also, be sure to download our mobile app so you can take Sports Zone Chicago with you on the go.
Time out. How are you feeling right now? Happy? Excited? Angry? Overwhelmed? One of the best things you can do for your mind health is to name what you're feeling. It can sharpen your awareness and help you talk about your feelings with someone you trust. Here are 3 questions to ask yourself. Where are your thoughts right now? In the past, the present, the future? Do you notice any sensations in your body? Is your heart beating fast? Is there a flutter in your stomach? Or are you fully relaxed? What do you need right now? Time with others? Time to yourself? Remember, there's power in this awareness. So find ways to identify what you're feeling today.
Hi, guys. Hey. Hi, Megan. Hey, Jessica. Megan, you're a tramp. Brian Fitch told me you guys made out. Everybody knows. He said your breath smells like garbage. And he almost puked. He says you're the most desperate girl he knows, besides your mom. How many boyfriends does she have anyway? Lots? Your makeup makes you look like a clown. That zit is huge, zit face. Ugly.
Hey, bud, what you doing?
I'm playing with cars.
Cars? Can you show me what a car does? Whoa, 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 whoa. Hold on a second. First of all, this is a school zone. So you need to put down your cell phone, stop texting, and let's get to driving. Now you're coming up to a stop sign, right? You need to slow down and stop before you hit that Y line. I want you to look left, right, left. You don't want to get hit by a car going on your left, and to your right to make sure you don't get sideswiped by a guy coming from your right. You're coming, and you see a crosswalk. You better slow your horses down, because the #1 rule of driving is always yield to pedestrians. Now stop, pull over, and you are done driving. Gosh, what do they teach you kids in school nowadays?
Everyone get back to work. Listen, thank you so much. My family and I, we are beyond excited. This is exactly where we wanted to be. This is exactly where we wanted to be. Where we want you. This is going to be a challenge. I am well aware of that. I know what this division's about. And this is exactly where we want to be. We're going to go after this thing, and it's going to take all of us in this room. It's going to take this locker room. It's nothing more important than that locker room and us serving that locker room and those players. All right? They need to understand that, and they need to feel that from us every single day. And if we do that, the wins are going to come. The playoffs are going to come. All right? Can't wait to get to know you guys, and thank you so much for the warm welcome. Thank you.
All right, Bears Nation, get ready to go. Beyond fired up to be here. This is exciting times. Cannot wait to get to work. Bear down, baby.
If that don't fire you up, I don't know what the hell does. Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. That, my peoples, that was your new head coach for your Chicago Bears, Ben Johnson. Johnson reminds me of the naked gun. Look at that big Johnson. But hey, he's charismatic. You saw him crack a joke. Hey, get back to work. He seems like he has a great personality. See how it plays out. All right, this is the guy that most people wanted. Again, he wasn't my first choice, but hey, I said I wouldn't be upset if we got him. I wouldn't be upset if we got him. And here's why I'm liking him more and more. When you're new or you're not the smartest person in the room, you know what you do? You go and hire the smartest people in the room or the best at what they do, which is why he's trying to bring over Dennis Allen as the defensive coordinator. So that side of the ball is taken care of for him. And he can focus more on the development of Caleb. But enough of me, enough of my mouth. Shut your mouth. My first guest, good friend of the program. He's been rocking with us for a couple years. Good friend of the program. Chicago Bears Draft Analyst. You can find him on Twitter at True Glynn Morgan. Guys, just welcome back to Shawn and Maya. Glynn Morgan. Glynn, what's up, Papa? How are you? Are you on mute?
Hey, how's it going, brother? Can you hear me okay? Got me?
No, we still can't hear you. Oh, no.
Oh, what is going on, man? I don't.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, the audio's not, we're not hitting your audio.
I don't know what is going on.
And you see about my age, and I'm tech stupid, so I don't know how much more tech smart you are than me. I'm tech stupid.
How about now? You got me now at all?
No, we still can't hear you.
No.
Goodness gracious.
God damn. It's lit.
Let's here. We'll bring it back when you think you got it. Oh, that sucks. I was really looking forward to talking to Glynn. Hopefully he's able to get that together. Yeah, listen. Mr. Shorty, that dude's excited. He should be. He's got a big task ahead of him. But, man, he's got a lot of help along the way. All right? Rashawn says PJ is fired up. Cornelia says, that's a hell of a first impression. Got to love it. Play. Get back to work, everyone. That was awesome. That's how that's a person you know is very personable. All right. And you can tell the aura he gives off is he's a great guy. Foul mouth Chris, what's up, baby? Hey, I'll tell you what, you're right, Shorty. He looks happy. And when he said this is where we want to be, he wasn't kidding. And his actions showed that. So I'm starting to like him more and more as this is progressing. If you only had known this for 24 hours, I'm liking this guy more and more and more. Can you hear me now, guys? Ken said we can't hear both of you. Can you hear me now? Oh, DJ Kuko. Oh, snap. DJ Kuko's in the house. Kuko! My man. Okay. My man Kuko's in the house. James Ford, what's up, Papa? DJ said, just imagine when he brings the Bears back to respectability, his stock will skyrocket in the side. You're damn right. He ain't gonna have to buy a dinner. He'll have his own restaurant, Johnson's. Like Ditka's, you have Johnson's. It's gonna be that way. But you know what? I'm excited because we finally got the offensive guy that we needed. I didn't care if he was a head coach and then he brought in a good offensive coordinator, or if it's a head coach who is the play caller. We finally got the guy. We finally got it. And that's the thing. We would never get the guy. We would never get the guy. This is the first for me. The hottest person, the hottest bell at the ball we got. And I'm anxious to see what he does in the draft, what they do in the draft now, his collaboration, his work, his partnership with Ryan Poles. Like, hey, homie, I need me a tackle. Hey, homie, I need me a guard. Hey, homie, it's free agency. I need me another guard. Black Diamond says, imagine he brings a Lombardi trophy here. He'll be bigger than Capone. I don't know about bigger than Capone, but he'll be pretty damn big. Because he used the old Ric Flair quote on Amon-Ra St. Brown. To be the best, you got to beat the best. And that's right. And Kez also goes on to say, hey, listen, it does weaken the Detroit Lions. But it wasn't just us. He was leaving. He had informed them that he was leaving. They knew he was leaving. And he said, let's steal. And Ked says, let's steal their O-line coach, Hank Fraley. Well, that's the rumor. That's the rumor that he's coming here to be the offensive coordinator. Obviously not going to call plays, but I want that guy here. When you see a team with a good running game, I shouldn't say great. A great running game, I want that offensive line coach. And that's why you need to go get some first-round picks. Either get a free agent who was a first-round pick or draft a first-round offensive lineman, but get those top-tier players here. So we can have a great offensive line coach him. Don't get me wrong. If you're well coached and you have the desire to get better, you'll do well. But there's a difference. There's a reason you're a 6th-round player as opposed to a 1st-round player. Big difference. Big difference. There's only going to be so much I can get out of a 5th or 6th-round player or undrafted free agent. Only so much. In most cases. Not all. In most cases. I'd rather shoot for a hell of a lot more 1st and 2nd-round picks, 1st round preferably, on the offensive line and defensive line. But right now we're talking offensive line. Sorry about that. So I don't know how this is going to play out. But I'll tell you what, here's a cool thing. If it fails, we as Bear fans can say we did it the right way. We saw what we wanted, we went after him, and we got him. Let's see if we're gonna try Glynn, see if we got his audio together.
1 2 1 2.
No, damn it. Goodness gracious, great balls of fire.
I'm gonna go out and come back in.
All right. He's gonna come back, log out and log back in. King Booker World, what's up, baby? Oh, you could hear Canuck, you could hear him. I couldn't hear him. Oh, he's gonna come back in. Cornelius just, I think the Bears will be reaching in the draft if they draft one of those tackles in the first round. Well, I really haven't done my dive. Here's
Yeah, you got me now?
Yes. Excellent. We got it, baby.
Oh, man, dude. I apologize. I feel like the juice wasn't worth the squeeze, man. Sorry about that, guys. Sorry about that chat room. Apologies to you, Shawn, most definitely, man. My bad. I don't know what was going on, man. Just Murphy's Law.
You're here. You're here. We're happy. We're happy, man. We're happy. So give me your thoughts, man. This should happen fast. They lose Saturday, Tuesday morning. It's like they're finalizing the deal. He hadn't even been to Hallis yet.
Yeah, I mean, we were just talking about Angel Reese in a 3-on-3, and I'm excited for it.
That's the big news in the city.
That's the big news in the city. I'm with you in terms of how fast it happened. I think everybody's head's spinning about how fast this happened in Chicago. Earlier I chimed in, and you're right, not business as usual, so to speak, which is something that I've been saying. I felt that by the Bears keeping polls, that it was business as usual. I was very disappointed with how this past season went. Going back to, and again, not to start the Justin Caleb thing, that's not where I'm going. I'm going in terms of the Bears having an opportunity organizationally to do something different, to construct this organization from a foundational point forward. And I understood not wanting to keep Justin. I get that, but having that first pick overall, and not only that, but 2 picks in the top 10, I just felt like there were so many more needs we didn't maximize what we could have gotten. And this past draft was deep in everything that the Bears needed, be it wide receiver, offensive line, quarterbacks, obviously, as well as it turned out, edge rushers, all those things. And we came away with quarterback and a wide receiver, which is good, but those guys aren't any good if the line can't block, and so on and so forth. And I thought the most egregious thing, and I've said this time before, was not having a veteran quarterback in place for Caleb. Even you look at Washington, even Jaden has a veteran quarterback, and someone who's been playing currently, or who can give you that real time, what it's like on the field, can be that buffer, can help you understand what the offensive coordinator or the quarterback coaches are trying to get you to do, who can help you understand what it's like to play in the NFL, prepare for the NFL. All those things, Caleb didn't have that veteran leadership at the quarterback position. And I thought those were things that handcuffed him a little bit, or he could have been better fortified and prepared going into games. That being said, polls to me was the issue. And by the Bears retaining him, I'm like, I don't know that we're not going to get some of the same thing, because this is a guy that was also responsible for signing off on Eberflus, retaining Eberflus, getting Shane Waldron, and then letting those guys go before the season was over. We'll let you know just how bad those decisions were. So now you're entrusting this guy to get the next head coach. I was dubious at best. One of the things that I felt could have been a saving grace for this organization was if Kevin Warren was going to be a force, if he was going to flex. If he didn't flex, and his whole focus and purpose and is on just getting the stadium deal done, and just saying a lot of stuff about the Bears and making changes, but not really doing anything because he's focused on the financials, kind of like Ted Phillips was to some degree, then we're in for a problem going forward. And then Caleb is going to be abused and misused, and then he'll leave as soon as he could. So it looks like with how expeditiously this was handled, it looks like letting the coordinator go and also the head coach go, but more so the head coach go before the season was over. It looks like Kevin Warren isn't front face, but he's behind the scenes making things happen. It seems to be the case, because otherwise I don't know where that impetus is coming from. I don't think it was coming from polls. I think polls did a lot of conservative things.
He's a little puppet master.
So Ben Johnson. So now the question is he the right guy? We won't know until probably September, October of next season, really, to be honest. If we're going to be front and center about all this, we're not going to know until the games are being played. That being said, to your point, and by who I'm talking, Ben Johnson, who you bring on your staff says a lot about how comfortable you are in your skin, where you want to go, and what you think you need to help you along that journey. And getting someone like Dennis Allen is a good get. I mean, he's a longtime veteran. He's a proven defensive coordinator, which was kind of the only reason why it seemed like Eberflus was kept, because the defense did so well. Okay, well, you don't have to worry about that now, because now you have a guy who's been, I don't want to say failed, but he hasn't been as successful as a head coach. So chances are head coaching jobs aren't going to come his way. So he'll stay for a while. It could kind of be like Reed and Spagnuolo to some degree, in terms of Spagnuolo's not going anywhere. So your defensive coordinator can be there. Your continuity and consistency on defense is sound. He does a lot of 4-3 schemes, so you don't have to change a lot of your personnel out. You can build on what you have. And you have someone who's had head coaching experience. So that Ben Johnson, although he's a first-time hire, he has a coach on his staff, a coordinator who has been a head coach. So you can glean some information from his successes and his not so successful ventures as a head coach. So that's a good thing. Now, I think Hank Fraley is supposed to be the offensive coordinator, de facto offensive coordinator, but he's an offensive line coach. That's kind of his forte. God knows we need help there. So that's a good sign. On top of all that, Aaron Glenn leaving and possibly going to the Jets is what it looks like. And we've weakened a divisional opponent from the inside out by taking some of the better offense or some of the better coaching personnel. So this is a win in a lot of ways going into next season, something to build off of. Now, as far as personality-wise, he seems like he has good energy. He seems like he's enthusiastic. You've got the enthusiasm and the youthfulness of that behind it. The energy that his age provides, as well as the enthusiasm. Here's the thing too, and I'm being a little coy when I say his youthful exuberance, but looking back at his history, he's not someone who just came out of nowhere. He's been building. He's with the Miami Dolphins for a long time. Under Gase, he hasn't been under some of the better coaches. I mean, Dan Campbell's probably the most successful coach he's been under, but he's put the time in. You've seen where he has been, wide receivers coach. He's been tight ends coach. Even with the Lions, he didn't come in as the OC. He worked his way up to that. And you look at his record as the OC, he improved each year in terms of, yards, where they were ranked, the offense gelling, coming together, building. And that's another thing I like too. When you build on what you have, it's been so frustrating to watch this organization, especially offensively, do one thing one season and then come back the next season and completely eschew it and try something else. It's like, why didn't you build on what you had? They did that with this organization misused. And again, I'm not pining for Justin, misunderstand. I'm giving examples of how this organization, a recent example of how this organization has basically cut its nose off to spite its face. With who is it? Getsy, you have a situation where his first year as OC, they more or less say, hey, we're going to run the ball, we'll play action, run the ball, we'll do short passes, we'll run the ball, blah, blah, blah. And you saw where Justin was able to do things to leverage against the defense where he was a problem. Like, okay, we have a running game, we can build on that. We saw the team make adjustments in the second half to where they were competitive in games that they probably shouldn't have even been in. You come back the next year and you don't do any of that. you know, and so
Not
you
stay in
spend
the pocket, don't run.
but you spent half a season spinning your wheels trying to do something different because you thought you were further along than where you were. And we come back this season and you bring in Shane Waldron, but in terms of personnel, you don't build on that. You know, you thought you had a better running game than what you did. And so you're trying to make pass plays where your blockers need to block longer. Again, cutting your nose off to spite your face. It looks as with Johnson, what they did in Detroit. Now, I hope it's not just something that was a Campbell thing, but something that was a part of what Johnson thinks part of his process. Build on the successes you had the year before. Build off the running game. Continue with the running game. You saw Gibbs. Gibbs, you know, his rookie year, they gave him what he could handle this year. He was able to handle a little bit more. You've seen what Laporta able to build. You've seen these guys build and become better the year after year. And that's something that we haven't seen here. So hopefully Johnson can bring that kind of consistency, and by him staying here, the continuity that this organization has been missing for quite some time.
Ever. I got Canuck as the Canucks today. So did you want Ryan Poles gone? Did you want
Yes,
him to move on?
I did. I was ready to move on from Poles because I felt there were a lot of things. I felt his hubris got in the way of a lot of things this past season. Believing you had a better offensive line, for whatever reason, you know, the need to have to go after some of these journeyman offensive linemen and sacrificing draft picks made no sense to me. Keenan Allen, I get getting him if you're a player or two away. If we were 10-7 and we were building on something from the previous season, I understand maybe getting Keenan Allen. It didn't make any sense this year because you gave up a 4th-round pick for a guy who's not going to be here.
Right.
I mean, he's a West Coast guy. He played at Cal. He played for the Chargers his whole career. You think he likes being in Chicago and it's losing at this tail end of his career? No, he wants to win something. So he's going to go. He might wind up in Washington next year. You know, who knows? But it didn't make sense because you weren't that close. And then you draft the punter, again, a luxury pick. Not about his talent. He's a hell of a punter. It's a good get in terms of talent, but it didn't make any sense in terms of where the things that we needed. And the most egregious thing, and I've said this time and time again, was you bring in Caleb. Okay, I get that, but you don't provide him with a veteran quarterback to help him. So you putting it all on his shoulders. That's almost malfeasance, really. I mean, that's like neglecting your child. You know, it's like child neglect.
It really is.
And so for those reasons, and not only that, but then I know the Waldron thing wasn't necessarily like an all 100% Eberflus call. So you brought in a guy who couldn't last a year. Basically, what Waldron did as far as his offense didn't really fit Caleb. You know, it just didn't. And you let Kingsbury, who has whose offense and who's been around Caleb, you let him out the building. And I don't know what the conversations were, why Kingsbury chose not to, or if you chose not to choose Kingsbury, or if it was mutual. But the fact that you settled on Waldron and then you let him go before half the season just shows how bad your decision making is when it comes to the coaching staff. And then you kept Eberflus. Like, you knew you were getting Caleb, so you didn't have to keep Eberflus. You could have gotten a defensive coordinator to run a 4-3. You could have got Eric Washington. You end up getting him to be the DC anyway, and you know, in name if nothing else. It just, a lot of it was cutting your nose off to spite your face because you thought you were that close that the quarterback, rookie quarterback, who had a history of holding on to the ball long at USC, was going to come in and just light the league on fire. Now, Jayden Daniels, yeah, he's having that kind of season, but look at all the things they did to support that young man. You've got veterans in Eckler. You have a good running back in Robinson. You had a solid line, not a great, but a solid line. But you had an offensive system conducive to his skill set. And Jayden Daniels, there are things he does that helps himself out. He gets rid of the ball a lot more quickly. He is an accurate deep ball passer. And when he runs, he's not dancing in the backfield to try and make a big play. He's getting upfield, and he realizes that every play doesn't hinge upon just the one that he's at. There are things that build on one another and that you can live to fight another day kind of deal. And other things go right, too. Washington's had a lot of health. They haven't had serious health issues. Right. Other things go into their factor being successful. But my point being is that they set things up for Jayden, and they gave him a veteran quarterback. You know, he's got Mariota there, a guy who has a similar skill set, a guy who could tell him what he's seen on the field, a guy who's been in the league for 7+ years. So, yeah, I felt that Poles having having the first pick back-to-back years to be worse than you were last year. No, that was almost a bridge too far for me.
Yeah, I agree. And we're in the same boat. Like I wanted the picks. I just did. I did because you could have built that offensive line, and we wouldn't be in a situation where we're at now. Where I mean, look at what Detroit did. Detroit, they had Stafford, but they built that offensive line. 3 first-rounders. Look at the Eagles. I think the same thing. I think they have 3 first-rounders in that offensive line as well. When you build up when you fortify that offensive line, your quarterback doesn't have to be Superman. Doesn't have to be generational. Your quarterback doesn't have to be the next coming of quarterback. He can be good, and that's it.
Doesn't have to be the first pick in the draft. You could have traded down one. I mean, there were a lot of quarterbacks that you can build. All these quarterbacks. I mean, we haven't seen McCarthy play. I mean, we've seen him play because of the injury, but you know he's going to be okay because O'Connell's a really good play caller. Offensive line is solid. Talent around him is solid. Defense is solid. He's going to get opportunities. He'll grow into the role, but he won't be bad, and they'll be a solid team. But yeah, to your point, that offensive line, and it's even more an affront because our GM was a former offensive lineman.
And the assistant GM.
And your assistant GM. So it's like, how are you missing out on that aspect of it? Like, you come into from the press conference, we're going to take the North, we're going to do it the right way, we're going to build. And the first couple of years, it seems like, okay, you're in that vein of doing that. I understand letting Roquan go and, Khalil, all those things. Pace left you in a bad spot. So it's going to be a rebuild. We understood that. It seemed like you were building in that direction. You make the trade down after you get the first pick. You get DJ. I felt you still kind of got a little bit more, but hey, you got the first pick overall. You traded it down. You got DJ. You're in position to get another, a top 10 pick. You got an offensive lineman. It seemed like that was your mindset. And then this past season, it's like, all right, we're ready. Here's go. We're champion Super Bowl. It's like, no, dude, you don't go from 7 and 10 and you get a rookie quarterback, and you actually, it's weird because every time I say that, I think about Washington. That Washington completely blows almost everything out the water because there's a whole new organization. But it just seemed like the way they constructed things, it was set to. I don't, by no means. I think if you put everyone their feet to the fire in Washington, none of them expected to be this far. I think they expected to be 7 and 10, 9 and 8 would be great. 10 and 7 would be phenomenal. I don't think they expected to be where they're at right now. So I think even they're shocked by their success. But you look at what Houston did the year before. But Houston, again, but even Houston, to your point, they were bad for so long that with their first round picks, they were building. They got the defense in order, and they got key people at key spots. And they had Tunsil already. They made a trade from a couple of years ago. They had depth at running back. There were things that they did as well, and good coaches. That's where you have to, you've got to do that right off the bat as well. And that's something that Poles should be responsible for. The offensive line, I blame him for. The coaching hires and the retention of some people, I blame him for, and not providing Caleb with support when that's the person that you were, pining for. And not only that, but again, the stuff came out in terms of he didn't interview any of the other quarterbacks. So you don't even know what you might be missing out on because you've already made your mind up, which is something that we saw the previous guy did when he set his mind on Trubisky and he was sold and he didn't interview anybody else. So yeah, man, I'm not happy with Poles, long story short.
Yeah, me either. I mean, I'm happy with this move that he made, but leading up to this, for me, fundamentally, the way you constructed the team, that's my issue. All right, you could take swings and misses, but if you do it the right way and it fails, okay, it happens. I get it. All marriages don't last, but you get married and you have kids, and that's technically the right way to do it. Not the way everything always happen, but if you you say, hey, you know what, it didn't work out. I got married, had kids, it didn't work out. Okay, cool. Man, to go about it this way was frustrating, and that's why I didn't want him back either. Just the like you talked about, you're an offensive lineman. How the hell do you not go get stud offensive lineman? I don't know. Call me crazy, and I've been called that and worse.
Crazy, so, loco.
Yeah, I didn't want him either. Soy loco. They call don't you know I'm loco? So, yeah, I didn't want him either. So, moving forward now, they got 3 picks in the top 41, 42, I want to say.
Yeah.
And the last 2 are like back or 2 picks apart.
They're close, yeah.
Yeah. Your thought, what do you want? Give me your first 3 picks. So overall, what do you want from the first 3 picks? And then specifically, what do you want from the first overall pick, our first pick, number 10?
You know, it's going to be funny. It's so hard right now because there's going to be a lot of movement. People are going to trade. And so other teams are going to be in spots that they are at right now. But I will say this, position-wise, the first pick has to be an offensive lineman to me. And if it's not one of the better offensive linemen, and if it's not Campbell, that's kind of who I'm looking at, or I want to say young man from Texas, the left tackle from Texas, name just escaped me right now. If it's not one of those 2, then I would trade down, and then whatever I'm able to get, I would still draft offensive linemen. You know, I think the first 2 picks need to be offensive linemen, unless, of course, you can get one of the better 3 technique guys. Now, there's some depth here with interior defensive tackles this year. So I think that one of the 3 picks, I'll put it this way. Your first 3 picks, I think you need to have 2 offensive linemen and a defensive tackle. If you're not going line on both sides of the trenches, then you better get one hell of a playmaker. Now, if Abdul Carter's there and the linemen are gone at 10, I would make an allowance for that.
Hell yeah.
I would make an allowance for that because I think he has such versatility. He put on a little weight this year so he can play more on the D line. But I think if he dropped 10 pounds, he can still be fast enough to play on the edge. He's strong enough to play on the edge. But I think you can move him around enough to where he can be Micah Parsons-esque in ways that you can utilize him. He has that much athleticism. He's that much of a playmaker. So I'm hoping he's there. I'll any lineman, I'll forego that if you can get him. But if he's not there, then I want the offensive lineman. There are enough defensive edge rushers in this draft. I'm not worried about that. I think you can get that with maybe, again, if you do trade down with one of your police, I think you can still get an edge rusher that's good in the 3rd round as well, even late in the 3rd round. I like Skirton out of A&M. Now he's at Purdue, but he transferred to A&M. I like Princely Umanmielen. He transferred from Florida to Ole Miss. I like the kid that got injured, and he may fall a little bit. The kid in Arkansas, Landon Jackson, he may fall a little bit because he was injured. But that guy, his wingspan, dude. I mean, you got him on the opposite side of Montez. Like, holding the edge is not going to be a problem at all. He's like 6'6", 270. His wingspan is like 80 plus. He's athletic enough that I've seen him drop back in coverage comfortably in that short zone area, and I've seen him pick off hands. He's got soft hands. He was when Tennessee lost to Arkansas, he was a big reason why. He was just wrecking shop. He's a problem, and because he was injured, he may fall back a little bit. So I think there's enough talent, and there are other edge rushers I just haven't mentioned, but there's enough at that position. I think you can get that in the 3rd round, late 3rd round. But I really think you need to focus on the interior, both offensively. Actually, I should say interior on defense. I say on the offensive line, it doesn't matter. just take a spot. So I like Tyler.
We didn't talk before this, and that's exactly where I was going, or I've stated that first pick better be an offensive lineman. Definitely not a center. I think you ever take a center in the 1st round, but center or guard. I like the kid Campbell from LSU. Yeah. And then the 2 second-round picks, O-line, D-line, one of each. Doesn't matter. Yeah. And I would love 2 offensive line. Or if you give me 2 D linemen and you go get a stud free agent, because here's what I want, Glenn. I would love minimum 3 first-round picks on our offensive line, because now you're cooking with gas. Now you're cooking with gas. And all the shit that you did in Detroit, now you can do that because you can go get another running. You can go get a guy who has a Jahmyr Gibbs skill set. Maybe not as talented or that high of a skill set, but you can get running backs who can do those things that he does, and it'd behoove you to have a great offensive line to have a guy be able to do that and not get touched until a 2nd or maybe even 3rd level and make guys miss at that particular point.
Yeah, to your point, this draft class, the running back, is so deep in running back. I mean, seriously, and running backs fall anyway. So there's going to be a plethora of running backs in the 4th, 5th, 6th round. There may be some guys not even drafted that'll be game changers. I mean, that's how deep this running back class is. There's a young man at SMU, and I apologize, everybody, names escape me right now. He used to be a wide receiver when he was at Miami. He transferred to SMU. They put him at running back. And he's got good size. He's about 6 foot 187, 190, something around there. He's not a smallish guy. And he's a lot tougher. He runs a lot tougher than you would think, a guy who used to be a former wide receiver. Hands out this world, really good hands. And because he was a former wide receiver, he can run real routes. He's not just running out into the flat or doing a Texas route. I mean, he's running like for real routes. And I've seen him make catches being double covered down the field. It's kind of like if you remember how Marshall Faulk used to run those kind of routes downfield. And this guy, because he's a former wide receiver, he has that skill set already and the comfortability of being out there. And he's got that accelerant burst. He's not Gibbs, but he's got a good 0 to 60 kind of burst. He gets through holes, and he runs with good pad level and with good balance. I saw him take on a 235-pound running linebacker at the goal line where it was one-on-one, and he won that. He pushed that guy back, and that guy fell on his back. So,
Charles Smith, is that him?
Yes. So I'm talking about a guy like that. He may not, because he's not a household name or he's not your classic guy running back. Here's the thing too, he doesn't have a lot of tread on his tires as a running back because he's been a wide receiver and he wasn't even really a starter at Miami. So, there's so many running backs coming out. But I'm just saying a guy like him will be there in the 5th or 6th round. A guy like him in Ben Johnson's system can be a problem, because Johnson's creative enough to get him out into space. And when he's in space, that's where he can leverage his skill set against somebody else. So, but to your point, you need the offensive lineman. And hopefully that's something Johnson will be emphatic about when he gets into Hallis Hall, when he gets entrenched and they start doing their due diligence in terms of who's coming out. And they're going to have to use that money to get some free agents. You need some veteran offensive linemen as well. And, that's another thing that's really was weird to me. One of the reasons why you focus on getting the quarterback with the first pick overall or first round quarterback is so you have that luxury of the money.
5 years.
Yeah, we had that, and he still didn't really spend it on any offensive lineman. It's just really weird. So you're going to have to, if you're Poles, you have. I'll put it this way: you have less than zero, like that movie, Less Than Zero.
Less than zero.
You have less. I'm showing my age here. You have less than zero excuses when it comes to this season. Like your job is literally on the line here. You've had 2 back-to-back number 1 picks. I'm talking about the first pick overall. And I'm not saying you picked everyone at number 1, but you had the first pick in your possession, first pick overall in possession, back-to-back years. You got to do something with it. And now you got the quarterback that everyone says you should have and that you felt you should have. You've got the coach now that everyone said you should have, that you feel you should have. So there's like it's just you at this point. Like you can't put off anybody else. So he has to come through, and he needs to do a better job of evaluating offensive linemen, defensive interior, edge rushers. Am I leaving anything else out? And probably wide receivers. I mean, he got a Dunze that's kind of a layup in a lot of ways, but and hopefully Tyler Scott, maybe Ben Johnson will find him. The milk carton, maybe he'll find that milk carton that Tyler Scott's face on, and he'll get him out here and start utilizing that speed. But the tight ends, I mean, it's like, and here's the thing too. I'll say this. I know I'm jumping all over the place, but with Poles, as frustrated as I've been by him, a lot of his picks have made sense to me in some respects too. Some of the and some of the moves, like you get the 2 tight end, you got him here, but it wasn't. Sometimes the coaches weren't utilizing the talent that you had here. I think Getsy didn't utilize the talent at all. For some reason or the other, Komet became persona non grata. I forgot he's on the milk carton too. Like I said, I talk about Tyler Scott and other players too. It just, Mooney did much better with Atlanta. It's like he somehow got lost in the minutia season before, So maybe the coaches weren't good at utilizing the talent that Poles got, which could have made Poles' picks look a little bit better. But that being said, I still got issues with that offensive line because to this day, his best offensive lineman, production-wise, has been the guy he didn't draft, the oft-injured Tevinjenkins.
So speaking of him, what do you think about him? It's the possibility of him returning. Obviously, it'd have to be a friendly deal, but he's a free agent. And he can go anywhere, but he seemed to be our nastiest offensive lineman. Your thoughts on him?
You know what he looks like to me? He looks like, and it's no knock on his ability, but he'll have to be your swing interior offensive lineman because to start him means at some point he's going to break down. But if you don't start him, if you keep him, he may be more valuable for you throughout the season, backing up other players that may be injured, or other players if there's a struggle at a spot here or there. I would keep him as my interior offensive lineman as a swing guy, and it has to be a team-friendly deal, something where the realization is, all right, you can test the free market, but I don't know if you're going to get what you want, and I don't know if you're going to be in a situation that's going to benefit you professionally where you're being utilized the way you feel. If he needs to be a starter, then, God bless you and good luck with everything. But he hasn't been dependable for us. But I know who you are. I know your value, and you are the type of player that we want in the locker room, that the offensive line needs to have in terms of the personality. And like you said, he's got that bit of nasty. But if we can keep you healthy by not playing you all the time, by using you as a swing lineman, and then maybe during the play, whatever the case is, just find where do you maybe he's a goal line guy. Maybe when you need 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, maybe he's a situational offensive line. Maybe he's that guy that at the goal line is the lead blocker. There are things you can do to utilize his skill set, but you want him to be around to be able to utilize it. Best usability is availability, I guess is that how the saying goes. So, but I'm not going to overspend for him by any stretch of the means, no. And I still think even if you were to keep him, even if you keep him on a friendly deal, even if he can't remain as your starter, you better draft somebody to be his replacement, because he hasn't held up since he's been here.
Yeah, he hasn't. And I think so Shorty says
put him at right guard.
Put it at right guard. And I think, first of all, I think that'd be great.
He's got to stay healthy though.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I apologize for cutting you off. I was just going to chime in on what Shorty is saying. I agree. Like, you put him and
Darnell Wright
on the same side, and you get a legit center. Yeah, but the problem is, at some point, when does he break down, and do you have somebody that can take his spot? So,
yeah, and someone said, Shorty says we can get Tevin in a bargain. I agree, but the point is, like you just said, when's he going to break down? And he hasn't shown that. And truth be told, he just has a kid. He just became a father this past year. So, you got to go where the money's at. The NFL stands for not for long. So you need to be able to recoup or get as much money as you can. That means moving to another town, another team. Hey, I ain't mad at you, Papa. You got another mouth to feed. You got a wife to take care of, and at this point, it's about the money. It's not about the team. It's about you and because football ain't forever. So, if he moves on, I wish him well.
Yeah,
if he could stay healthy, could have stayed healthy, but I wish him well. So, yeah, but we need to get someone who is nasty. Like,
we need 4 offensive linemen. That's at the very minimum, we need 4 going into next year.
Yeah,
seriously.
So we get 2. If we get 2 free agents
drafted. 2 free agents.
Draft
2 drafted.
1. I'm okay with that. Even if we only get 3, I'm okay if we only get 3. Yes, we do need 4.
Yeah, if we get 3. Depending on what else you get, yes, I'm with you. I can live, but two have to be veteran, like, and not just journeyman. Like, you paying for some talent.
Yes. You got a guy who's asking crazy money. Fuck it, give it to him. Hey, you got your, when you own a house, your first check goes to the mortgage. Your second check goes to insurance. You got to have it.
Yeah.
Where's your insurance? You got to pay. You got to pay. So, I'm interested to see how well they do, or how they go about their draft selections this year. Because again, I think they have more than enough skill positions. All right, you can get another running back later in the 3rd or 4th or 5th round. All right, you're fine. You have more than enough skill position to do some damage in the NFC.
Yes.
You just don't have the hogs. This is why Philly does well every year. This is why Detroit's done well the last few years. This is why San Francisco has done well the last few years. Okay, you got it until the skill players got hurt. Then it doesn't matter what kind of offensive line you got. You don't got skill players, but we have the skill players, and go fortify that offensive line. And if we do that, I think this team could be very, very surprising.
Yeah,
and they can compete for a division title, because Detroit just got a hell of a lot weaker. Minnesota, we don't even know what they're going to do. Are you keeping JJ? Are you keeping Darnold? Who's the quarterback next year? And Green Bay, Jordan Love shows he wants to give it away all the time. He's like Oprah. You're gonna pick. Everybody. Pick. So as tough as this division was, it's still not inconceivable that we vie for a division title next year if you get somebody to protect Caleb. Because I think Ben Johnson is going to do wonders for this young man, and in doing wonders for him, he's for the Bears and our fan base.
Yes to what you said, and I'll add to that because again, as much as the quarterback is a focal point, I really still believe you've got to coach the rest of the team, and you've got to play winning football with your decision making as a coach. Again, this town lives in so many shoulda, coulda, wouldas. But you look back this past season again, a better coach, we probably win 4 more games.
Yep.
At least. I mean, they were right there. Literally, you could point to bad coaching decisions. Like you just lost us this game. Even the players were like, "Hey, motherfucker, you just lost us this game." You know. So to your point, it's not like there isn't talent here, okay? And so Poles is a part of that. Like I said, I'm somewhat conflicted, but there's some things he did I thought were a bit egregious and based on hubris, arrogance, however you want to color it. But with better coaching decisions and with better coaching acumen, and it goes into before not just game day, but all the preparation. You know, you practice as you play. I was listening to, I think it was a podcast. It was Robinson and Beast Mode. I forget what their podcast is called, but they had a former wide receiver who'd been in the league for a while. The Bears were one of the teams he had been on. Now, he had been with San Francisco and Seattle before he became a Bear. And he said the Bears are the worst organization he's ever been around. He said they don't take anything seriously. He said Adrian something, I can't remember his name. Anyway, he was like
Leggett was the guy.
Was it Leggett? Okay.
Yeah, I saw that one too. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
And he's like, man, I dropped the ball 4 times. Like nobody said anything. Like, hey, all right, you'll do better. Pick it up. He's like, no, the intensity isn't there. It didn't mean as much to that organization or to the players. And it's not that they don't care, but it didn't mean as much. You know what I'm saying? And so you're not held to that standard. I don't want to, as a Tomlinson quote, standard is a standard. Where the below standard is below standard. And they were below standard. And so if the Bears are practicing, and even that, the other thing that came out, Poles was saying something that was a few weeks ago about how there were issues going back to training camp. There were some things amiss then. It's just like, really? And you didn't make the change. You weren't accountable enough to demand enough for them to make the change then and there. Like,
count on yourself, Poles.
You're telling on yourself. Right. And so that's what I'm saying. Ben Johnson, Dennis Allen, and whoever else they bring in, they're going to have to institute that. And, we use that overused word culture, but they're going to have to institute that type of accountability. And accountability's got to be the word. If there's any T-shirt they get next year that they wear, it's got to say accountability on it, and with a finger on it, point like this, starting with yourself, and hold everyone to that, create a standard of accountability and hold everyone to it. And if you do that, those are the kind of things. That's why the Lions have been like they've been. That's why they could survive, 18 winning percentage or 1.188, but then pull themselves out of that nosedive a couple of years ago and win 7 or 8 down the stretch. Not the Packers. I think they knocked the Packers out the playoffs that year or whatever. Do those things so that they had the season they had last year that fed into the season this year, because those guys, they play for one another. They play with a certain intensity, and they're accountable. But you can tell that they're still they're doing all the things they do as professionals. And we've been anything other than that, it seems like here. I mean, you can't have DJ being petulant on the field. You got to call him out on that. I understand. Yep. It's like Chris Rock. I mean, you don't hit her. You shook her really hard. I understand why you shook her. I understand, but you can't act like that. I get it, but you can't act like that. Where the players, at some point start calling the coaches out publicly. At that point, man, you're dysfunctional. This was the most dysfunctional Bear organization this past season I've ever seen the Bear organization be in 1 year span. It's the most dysfunctional. It was disheartening. I've seen a lot of bad football here, really have, going back to the 70s, early 2000s. You can pick a decade, but this was the worst that I've ever seen. And what made it worse was the fact that there was so much hope going into it. There was so much, the possibilities,
the expectations were through the roof.
The expectations were you're going to go to the play. This might be the first division since they've realigned to where all 4 teams making it to the play. All these things, and it played out on national TV with all these national games that we were slated for, and you just saw it get worse and worse and worse as the season progressed, to the point that the head coach was fired, and that had never happened in Bears history. That's just how bad. It was. So hopefully, man, this is the start of something. It is the start of something new. Whether it's good or bad, we'll find out. But it's the start of something new, and they got it done quickly. So now you have no excuses. You got everything in place, man. You got time. You got your coaching. You got your coach in place. You have some of the players that you've been looking for in terms of the quarterback position. Your leaders need to be your leaders at this point, in terms of the players, and let's see. So money right now seems like the Bears are willing to spend if they're gonna pay it on the coach. So you got the free agent money. Let's do something.
Give me 1 or 2. You give me 2 offensive linemen in that free agent. Give me 2 guards in that free agency, and if you can get Campbell, and then go get a center 3rd or 4th round. Because I was still pissed that they missed all those centers last year, man. Jeez,
yes.
Pritchard, Austin, Jackson Powers Johnson, Frazier, all those dudes they missed on like you had, and there's your dude for 10 years.
And Frazier was doing really good stuff for the Steelers, right?
Steelers, yeah.
Steelers had 2 rookies on that offensive line, and they got to the playoffs. So
that's what I'm saying. You pick one, and that's why we go back to the hall. Like if you'd have traded. Think of how many first rounders you could have got. You could have fortified, and now you have to be selective. Now you have to do it like everybody else. When you had an advantage over everybody else with all those picks, I liken it to the Herschel Walker deal. I'm like, look at what that did to Dallas. They think of all the offensive and defensive linemen they got, and we had that opportunity, and he squandered it. So now you got to go like everybody else. It's going to take a lot longer because if you'd have got 3, imagine you got 3 first-round picks last year, all right, and you had 2 offensive linemen and 1 defensive lineman, all right? And this year you need 1 more offensive lineman and maybe a free agent. You know what I'm saying? It just you when you have those things, to me, you don't get the opportunity to have so many draft picks at one time. And when you squander it.
And to your point, you're talking about just what we had last year. Don't forget, you make those trade downs, you're actually getting picks the following year too.
Yeah.
And if you made that move, let's say Washington doesn't have the success that they have this year, but you traded down with them, you also acquire wherever they're drafting some of their, you'll be able to benefit, kind of like how you did with Carolina. Carolina was so bad, we got lucky enough and benefited from having number 1 pick overall again. So you might have had a higher first round pick again, or a higher second round pick, or whatever the case might be. So yeah, it wasn't just about the trade down. Wasn't just in terms of getting picks for last year. It was also getting picks for the next 2 years.
Yes,
and you're able to build your core with that talent. And you give yourself a greater margin for error so that if you misstep with the player, maybe you have someone else at that same position that is successful, or if nothing else.
And it gets you and budget wise, because they're all first and second year, they're on 4 year and 5 year for the first. What you have to pay. You know exactly what you got to pay every year, so you can budget that and say, okay, now I got X amount of cap space. So that was the biggest thing.
Yeah, you're not a free agent. You're paying a free agent money.
The premium.
Yeah, but the young guys, you're not paying anything, and then their trade potential later on as well, or even in terms of getting words escaped me, where you're able to accumulate compensatory picks is what I was going for. There's a potential for compensatory picks as well because you've had them on your team. So it gives you a lot of capital, and I felt like Poles really diminished the possibilities, the expanse of that capital. I think he condensed it, and it's just like, dude, you didn't have to do that. You had so much more, and you just went for what was right in front of your face, as opposed to really expanding this and giving yourself a better chance and a better margin for error. But I mean, that's that's water under the bridge at this point.
Bridge is history.
Yeah, like you said, now you're going to have to really, put your nose to the grindstone and kind of.
And that's what bugs me, because the picks that he made before, like if he had knocked it out of the park with all his picks, all right, and even if he didn't, he had a year without a lot of picks and still knocked it out of the park, I feel more confident. Like, okay, because now you got to pick one, boom. Okay, now you don't get another pick, boom, for a while. Another pick till next round, boom, like everybody else. If he had knocked it out of the park and his draft picks we saw development and contributions, significant contributions from those guys, I'd be like, all right, man. His third round picks have sucked. He had, it was Bayless Jones, Zach Pickens with 2 Ks, and I'm Mr. Hurt from Yale, Kieran Amagaji. Come on, man. Like, geez. So I don't know. I'm looking forward to it though. Hopefully Ben Johnson's input can help him. Will be a big help to him and say, hey, here's what I need. Here's who I want.
Right.
You know what I mean? See if you can get this guy. So we'll see. It's but I'll tell you what, I'm happy. Like I said, he wasn't my first guy, but I understand the power of Ben Johnson.
Who was your first guy? I meant to ask you that.
Carroll.
Oh, really? Old school, huh? Going back to the 90s, huh?
Yeah, and the reason I say that, I said on the podcast before, was because I listened to Richard Sherman's podcast. And he said one of the reasons they were so good in Seattle wasn't just the defense. He said that Pete Carroll breathed life into Russell. And I was like, you know what?
I can see that.
If you do that, if you can do that to Caleb, holy shit. So,
yeah,
but
I think Pete 10 years ago, I'd have been on board with that. I just don't know how long he would stay. Maybe 3 years, 2, maybe 3. And that might be enough to get us going, but then we're right back in the coaching search again. I think
my thought was get your OC that you want to take over for him.
Take over.
Boom, slide right in. That was
it's not bad.
Hey, Glenn, great stuff, buddy. I appreciate it. Do me a favor though, let everyone know where they can find you online.
Clearly, when my stuff is working, you can find me with my partners, podcast partners on YouTube as well. Easy Smoking the GM podcast, HP3 Productions, 53 Productions, HP3 53 Productions. You can find us on that YouTube channel, or just type in Easy Smoking the GM podcast. As mentioned before, I can't ever call it X, Twitter, but whatever you want to call it. You can find me on there as well at True Glynn Morgan. And from time to time, when you're kind enough and gracious enough to allow me to share some space with you, both on your show and then even on BCP with Shorty. I'm out here on the waves surfing from time to time, man. So especially around this time and with the draft coming up, I'll be out there a lot more often. So yeah, man. Thank you again for allowing me to share some space with your platform and everybody in the chat. It's always a pleasure. I gotta make sure I get this equipment working right, man. It's I apologize for that again.
That was good. We got you. That was good, man. It's all that matters. So, hey, great stuff, buddy. Do me a favor though. Have make sure you stay warm. It's cold out that mug.
Dude, I just came from outside. Yeah, no doubt, bro.
And then we gotta get ready for this interview, right? I mean this presentation. They're about to be introduced to the media right now. So we gotta jump.
Yeah, all right, man. It's not weird. All right, brother.
Thank you. All right. Guys, that's Glynn Morgan. Hey, listen, 2 hours is come and gone. What we're going to do right now, I got to let you go. All right, I got to run, pick up the warden, but also the Bears are going to introduce Ben Johnson to the media. All right, so I'm going to try and rebroadcast that on Sports Zone Chicago's page and my page as well. But listen, guys, stay warm out there. It's supposed to get better, get warmer today and tomorrow. Let your loved ones know you love them. Send them a text, a voice memo, do what you got to do, but let your people know you love them, because as I always tell you, tomorrow is promised to nobody. All the guys in the chat, everybody who came in, who checked it out, awesome. I appreciate it. Ked's a Canuck coming in from north of the border. I appreciate it. Good stuff. So for everyone here at Sports Zone Chicago, guys, I'm your boy, the Superback, Shawn Sierra. I got to bounce. I got to go pick up the warden. I am out.